These two beings must be returned to their kingdom. They are not human.
One quiet morning, farmers heard a deep sound coming from the earth, like someone breathing beneath the soil. When they rushed to the farmland, they found something that made them freeze in fear. Two small children sitting inside a deep pit, their skin completely green, glowing like fresh leaves after rain. They were not crying, they were not speaking. They just stared at the sky as if they had never seen the sun before. From that moment, Woolpit village was never the same again. This is the story of the Green Children of Woolpit, and what later happened to these children will shock you. Before I continue the story, do well to subscribe to our channel and comment where you are watching from. I would love to know where you are watching from. Let's continue. Woolpit was a humble farming village surrounded by tall grasses, sacred baobab trees, and an ancient pit at the edge of the fields. This pit had been there since the time of their ancestors, and no one dared to go near it. Stories said it was a doorway to another world, a hidden realm beneath the soil where spirits lived. That morning, as the earth trembled and sighed, no one knew that this sacred pit was about to change the destiny of the entire village forever. Two brave farmers, Kola and Tunde, decided to investigate the trembling ground. With machetes in hand and hearts pounding like drums, they approached the forbidden pit. Instead of finding an angry spirit or a monstrous creature, they saw something unbelievable. Two small children lying curled together at the bottom, their skin glowing green like fresh leaves after a heavy rain. Their bodies were thin, their eyes were wide with fear, and they clung to each other as though the world above was too frightening to face alone. The men quickly called the villagers, who arrived chanting prayers and sprinkling palm oil on the ground for protection. Using ropes woven from strong fibers, they carefully pulled the children out of the pit. The children did not cry, did not scream, and did not speak. They only stared at the sky in confusion, as if seeing daylight for the very first time. Some villagers whispered that they were cursed beings. Others believed they were gifts from the earth goddess, but all agreed that Woolpit would never be the same again. The Green children were taken to the chief's compound, where elders sat in a circle around them, burning incense and calling upon the ancestors. The village griot spoke gently, asking them questions in Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa, and the local dialect, but the children only exchanged soft musical sounds that no one could understand. Their voices were like wind passing through hollow caves, strange yet strangely beautiful. The villagers grew uneasy, wondering whether they were human, spirit, or something in between. When offered yam, cassava, plantain, and palm wine, the children pushed everything away as if it burned their tongues. The women of the village gasped, believing this was proof that the children were not from the world of men. Yet, despite their strangeness, their eyes held innocence and fear, not malice. Slowly, curiosity replaced terror, and the people of Woolpit began to wonder if these mysterious children had been sent for a greater purpose. After days of trying different foods, a young farmer named Seide brought a small basket of fresh green beans from her field. As soon as she placed them before the children, their eyes lit up. Without hesitation, they grabbed handfuls of beans and ate hungrily, as though they had not tasted food in many moons. The villagers watched in stunned silence, whispering that this was a sign from the earth itself. Over time, as the children fed only on beans, their green skins slowly began to fade into a normal human tone. Yet, when sunlight touched them, faint traces of green shimmered like reflections on water. The villagers debated among themselves. Were the children becoming human, or were they merely disguising their true nature? Either way, Woolpit had accepted them as part of their world, at least for now. Though both children were fed and cared for, the green boy grew weaker each passing day. His body trembled like a fragile leaf in the wind. His breathing became shallow, and his eyes carried a deep, unspoken sorrow. The village healer prepared powerful herbal mixtures of bitter leaves, roots, and sacred bark, but nothing restored his strength. The girl sat beside him constantly, holding his hand and humming softly in their strange language. The entire village gathered around the chief's compound, praying to their ancestors and pleading with the spirits to spare the boy's life. Drummers played slow, mournful rhythms, and women sang songs of protection. Yet, despite their efforts, the shadow of death hovered over him like a silent eagle waiting to claim its prey. At dawn, when the first cock crowed and the sky turned pale gold, the green boy let out a final breath and closed his eyes forever. A heavy silence fell over Woolpit. Even the wind seemed to mourn his passing. The villagers prepared his body with sacred oils and wrapped him in fine cloth before burying him beneath a towering Iroko tree near the pit where they had been found. His sister wept without sound, tears rolling down her face like morning dew. Though she could not speak the village language, her grief needed no translation. The people of Woolpit realized that they had not just lost a mysterious child. They had lost a piece of the unknown that would never return. Months passed, and the surviving green girl slowly began to learn the language of Woolpit. Children taught her through playful songs. Women spoke gently to her as they cooked, and elders told her stories beneath the moonlit sky. Her voice, when she finally spoke, was soft yet clear, like water flowing over smooth stones. With every word she learned, the mystery surrounding her began to unravel. The villagers listened closely, waiting for the moment she would finally tell them where she came from and why she and her brother had appeared so suddenly from the depths of the earth. One quiet evening, as the fire crackled and the stars shimmered above, the girl revealed her story. She spoke of a hidden world beneath the earth where everything was green: trees, rivers, animals, and even the people. There was no sun, but instead a soft glowing light that filled the sky like eternal dawn. She called this place Ile Imole Alawo Ewe, the land of evergreen light. In this underground realm, people lived in harmony with nature, speaking in whispers that echoed through vast cavernous halls. The villagers listened in awe, realizing that their world was not the only one that existed. The girl explained that she and her brother had been herding goats near a deep cavern when they heard a strange bell ringing from far above. Curious and innocent, they followed the sound, unaware that it would lead them into a dark tunnel that twisted and turned beneath the earth. After wandering through endless darkness, they suddenly fell through an opening and landed in the pit of Woolpit. Blinded by the harsh sunlight, terrified and disoriented, they had no way to return home. Their arrival had not been planned. It had been destiny calling. The village elder then revealed that on the morning of their arrival, a hunter had indeed heard a strange bell echoing from the pit. Some believed it was the voice of the earth spirit guiding the children upward, while others feared it was a warning that the boundary between worlds was growing thin. From that day forward, Woolpit villagers treated the pit with even greater reverence, believing that it was a sacred doorway connecting the world of humans with the hidden world beneath. As years passed, the green girl grew into a graceful young woman named Arinola. She learned how to plant crops, weave baskets, cook traditional meals, and tell stories to children under the stars. Though traces of green still shimmered in her skin, she was now fully part of the village. Yet, deep in her heart, she never forgot her underground homeland. At night, she often sat near the pit, gazing into its darkness as though listening for familiar voices calling her name. Strange things began happening near the pit. Glowing lights flickered at night, soft singing drifted through the air, and the ground sometimes trembled gently beneath villagers' feet. Some believed these were signs that the underground people were trying to communicate. Arinola claimed that she could hear their voices in the wind, reminding her of where she truly belonged. Woolpit now stood at the edge of two worlds, forever changed by the presence of the Green Children. The chief called a grand council to decide Arinola's fate. Should she remain in Woolpit as a beloved daughter of the village, or return to her people below? Some villagers had grown deeply attached to her and begged her to stay. Others feared that keeping her above ground might anger the earth spirits and bring disaster. The debate lasted for days, but Arinola remained silent, torn between loyalty to her new home and her roots beneath the earth. One stormy night, thunder shook the village, and lightning illuminated the pit with a brilliant emerald glow. Arinola heard a familiar voice, her brother's, echoing from deep below, calling her gently but urgently. Tears filled her eyes as she realized that her destiny was not entirely tied to Woolpit. The earth itself seemed to be summoning her back to where she truly came from. At dawn, Arinola gathered the villagers beneath the baobab tree where her brother was buried. She thanked them for their kindness, their love, and their protection over the years. Many wept openly, unable to imagine life in Woolpit without her. Though her heart ached, Arinola knew she had to return to her people. With a heavy but determined spirit, she walked slowly toward the glowing pit. As she descended into the shimmering green light, her skin slowly regained its full emerald glow. The light wrapped around her like a gentle embrace, as if welcoming a lost child back home. The villagers watched in silence as the pit glowed brighter and brighter before finally returning to stillness, leaving Woolpit once again quiet, yet forever changed. From that day onward, Woolpit became known across the land as a sacred village where the boundary between worlds had once opened. Parents warned their children never to wander too close to the pit. Elders spoke of Arinola as both human and spirit, a bridge between the world above and the world below, watching over both realms in eternal balance. And so, the story of the Green Children of Woolpit village became a timeless African legend, teaching that the W-Ode is far deeper than what our eyes can see, and that kindness to strangers can shape destiny in ways we may never fully understand. If you enjoyed this powerful African folktale, like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more mysterious and magical stories from across Africa. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss an upload.